What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV back here for another episode of Transfer Targets, and today we'll be focusing on the right wing back position. Obviously, we've got Emerson Royal and Matt Doherty. Emerson Royal been pretty shocking all season, apart from the final 4 or 5 games. Matt Doherty has been pretty awful since he joined Spurs, apart from the last 6 or 7 games he played for us. So both of them having upward ticks right at the end, but it does seem like we are still in the market for a right wing back this summer, and we have earmarked 5 players that we think can be viable targets. Some of them already been linked with Spurs already. And let's start off with the first one, and that is Denzel Dumfries of Inter Milan. Obviously, he was a star at the World Cup or the Euros, I think it was, for Holland, and yeah, really strong performances, a really strong attacking right wing back. 26 years of age, contract up until 2025. Market value of 18 million, 32 caps for Holland, 3 goals this season. He's played 33 games in Serie A, scoring 5 goals, assisting 5 goals as well. And every time I've seen him play, I've really liked the look of him. Obviously, I think there are reservations of him defensively, but going forward, he's very strong.
Yeah, he is. And especially those reservations aren't as strong when he's in a back three. That's probably why he's done so well for Inter Milan, because they play the back three system, whereas for Holland, I don't think they do they? I think they play with a back two, if I remember. Anyway.
Yeah, they do.
So he gets good goals and assists. He does have a deficiency with his passing. His passing in general play isn't very strong. He's quite loose with the ball. His passing accuracy isn't very good. Defensively, he's a strong guy. He's physically very good, but he's not the best defensively either. He can have lapses in concentration, definitely can make mistakes at the back, but that definitely under Conte, he can be coached into being better. He's still fairly, 24? Oh, he's not 26, isn't he?
26, yeah.
So he's not so young.
Still a good age.
He's at a good age. He's definitely one who can be moulded into a better player under Conte, but he's definitely not at the moment at elite level.
Obviously, he's only been at Inter Milan for 1 season, isn't it? They signed him just after Conte left. Which we were both calling for Spurs to get. I mean, the deal that they got from like 14 million or something like that was great business. And I was calling on us to do that last summer, but we went for Emerson Royal instead, which probably looks like a bad deal in hindsight. But I think Denzel Dumfries is a player that I would really like to get through the door. How much do you reckon he commands, seeing as they signed him at 14? You're probably looking about 25 million, something like that.
Yeah, probably about 30, I would say. I would think. But depending on how willing they are to sell him, because they're obviously looking at selling other players. It looks like we're looking at raiding into Milan by the looks of our thing. But yeah, I think you at least 30 million, you have to assume.
All right, well, that is Denzel Dumfries. Let's look at the next player now, and that is Brighton's Tyrique Lampe. Look, he's got a big future ahead of him, Lampe. I think he's had a very strong couple of seasons in the Premier League. He's another one from the Chelsea Youth Academy that obviously they let go of. 16 million market value. Hasn't had a cap for England yet at the age of 21, but he has had only two caps for the under-21s, which is actually quite surprising. With everything surrounding him. He's played 30 games this year for Brighton, only getting 2 assists, no goals to his name. But every time I watch him play, I am quite impressed with the way he does play. I mean, what's your opinions on him?
I like Lampe. He does have injury problems. Yeah. He's had some bad injuries in his time, past couple of years. Although he did play in the end 30 games, he had some serious injury problems during the season. I think he's good at dribbling. He gets forward well. He's got good pace. I think defensively, he's quite good. Going forward, I think he can be better. I think he dribbles well, so he looks dangerous, but then his final ball a lot of the time seems to be lacking a lot. So that's definitely something he needs to work on. But at a young age, he can definitely improve. So I think it's definitely one you need to mould into a better player.
And that a good age to do that.
But then again, you're probably spending a lot of money to do that. That's the problem.
I mean, there's been crazy money being bandied about him. I mean,
somebody was saying 50. Yeah,
like 50 million.
I wouldn't spend 50 on him.
No, neither would I. But I think, like, if we could get a good price on him, let's say we could get 20 to 30 million on him, I think that would represent good value.
Yeah, potentially. But you could also, it's one of those you could get a bit frustrated with him early on. You have to be a bit patient, wait till he develops properly.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that, especially with his contract running out 2025. I think Brighton really want to keep hold of him, don't they? So they'll command a very big fee for him. But let's move on to our next player, and that is Joachim Mela of Atalanta. Was a star at the Euros with Denmark, a very good player at the right wing back, can play on the left as well if asked to do that. 25 years of age, 15.5 million market value on transfer market. He only just signed for Atalanta this season, so it remains to be seen if they will let him go. They signed him for around £12 million. What do you reckon about him? 25 games for Denmark, 9 goals.
Yeah, he was great. He's a bit better for Denmark than he is for Atalanta in a weird way. He was actually playing for Denmark mainly on the left than on the right, but he was playing as a right-footed player cutting inside, and he was brilliant. He had an unbelievable Euros, one of the stars of the Euros for Denmark. He's been decent for Atalanta. From what I've seen, that hasn't quite got the goals and assists and stuff this season. Only 1 goal, 1 assist, which is a bit disappointing when you're looking at what he's done at international level. He's he's 25 years of age, so he's at a stage where you're probably starting to see the full picture with him. And he's one that gets forward a lot. He's pretty good at getting forward, but needs to maybe do better when he gets in those positions. Defensively, he's all right, but he's not. I don't think he's like elite defensively either. So I don't know. Unless we're thinking he can be better, showing more at Spurs than he's showing at Atlanta. I don't know if it's one I would be desperate to get right now.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think that if he was to come under the stewardship of Antonio Conte, I think he could get a lot better. I do believe that, especially with the levels he has shown for Denmark. I believe that Conte could kind of get that out of him at domestic levels. So he would be one that I'd definitely consider. And I think at the price that you can get him for, obviously Atalanta, I said, signed him for about 12 million or something, and with his market value at 15 million, you're looking at probably like 25 million, something like that. And I think, again, represents probably good value for someone that can be quite versatile on both sides as well. So yeah, I think he would be quite a good option, to be honest. But let's move on. Let's talk about Singo from Torino, another player from Torino that's had a bit of a breakout year this year. 21 years of age, from Ivory Coast. They signed him for little, next to nothing, like £100,000 or something. Torino did. He did come through the academy there as well. 35 games, 3 goals, 4 assists. He's had quite a strong season for Torino this year, and he's been heavily linked with Spurs as well. And his contract expires in 1 year time, but they do have an option for a further year, Torino. 13.5 million market value. You're probably looking at around the 20 million mark or something if you want to get him.
Yeah, you got to remember he's 21 years of age, so he's very young. He's got a lot of years left ahead of him. He's, as you say, he's only had a breakout season this season, so a few question marks. He's gets forward well. Look, 3 goals and 4 assists is a good total, especially in Serie A. He's pretty decent at shooting, he's pretty decent at dribbling, and he's quite aggressive, but in terms of tackles, interceptions and stuff like that, it's not the best. His passing definitely is not great either, so it's definitely things in possession he needs to work on, but he's still quite raw as well. You got to remember that. So these are things that can be ironed out, and if he irons anything out, he could develop into an elite wing back. But still, it's a player where Conte wants experience. I guess not necessarily he needs experience in every single position. So if he's getting, a Kostic or a Perisic on one side, he could probably afford a bit more inexperience on the other side. But it's a case of it's not a lot of experience at all. It's a bit like our Hill signing, where he had a good first season, where he's made a lot of starts, but then he couldn't really make the jump into consistently playing first team in the Premier League. So Singo would have question marks, but the signs are very promising early on. So it's definitely one, if the scouting department see in him what they think, could be a very good signing.
Yeah, definitely. Let's move on to the last one that we're going to be talking about, and that is Jed Spence. Obviously, the rumour mill has been in overdrive with Jed Spence going to Spurs. He's been linked with other clubs as well. He's had a great season this year at Nottingham Forest. They've got the playoff final this weekend. He's been on loan with Middlesbrough. I think he had a falling out with, was it Warnock or someone like that, I think, at Middlesbrough, and that's why he did go on loan to Nottingham Forest. He's a player that every time I've seen him play, I haven't seen him play that much in the Championship, but I watched him in the playoffs and I watched him against Arsenal, and they played Leicester as well, I believe, in the FA Cup, and I thought he put in really strong performances in both those games. 21 years of age as well, really good attacking. I'm not sure how good he is defensively, but I think he's a player that you could probably get for around 15, 20 million again. And I think that represents good value. And also he's British as well, which is something that we're lacking, and we need that for the quota. So I think it's one that we could potentially get.
And reportedly, it's something we'll definitely look at. Obviously, he is 21 years of age. He hasn't really played in a level higher than the Championship, so that's a bit of a concern. I wouldn't want to overspend on a player that we still know quite little about, even though he's done well this season.
He has done well against Premier League opposition.
He has done very well against Premier League opposition. That makes you think he can definitely step up to Premier League level, especially with better players around him. But I wouldn't want to overspend on him. I wouldn't want to be held to ransom on him, because there's still a lot left unknown on Jed Spencer. But he clearly is very, very quick, very physical, gets in really good goal scoring positions. He scored a great goal against Leicester. He was against Arsenal. He was dominating their right hand side. So for sure, he's one I'll definitely look at. But yeah, I think I'll look. I think if there's a good deal to be done there, I'll look to bring him in through the door, because I think the risk probably outweighs the reward. The reward probably outweighs the risk, probably, I would say, with that signing. But I probably wouldn't spend more than 20 million on him.
Agreed there. So let's look at the targets that we have spoken about today and see which one we would like the most. Denzel Dumfries, Tyrique Lampe, Joachim Mela, Singo, and Jed Spencer as well. In my opinion, I think probably Denzel Dumfries would probably be my number one in terms of the way he goes forward, how aggressive and how strong he is. All of them, all these players here have got a bit of reservations defensively. And I think probably Denzel Dumfries and maybe even Jed Spence might be my top two. But I am quite tempted by Mela.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think Jed Spence probably... If we're having a more experienced one alongside him, I'd definitely look to bring him through the door. In terms of if we're getting rid of both Doherty and Emerson, I think I'd only take one from this list, and you probably need another one on top. I don't know if I'd take two from this list, because that's too much of a risk, I feel.
Any others in your mind that you might be potentially looking at?
I'm trying to think off the top of my head who could be a good right wing back if we were to sell both Emerson and Doherty. Maybe it's just a case of keeping one of Emerson or Doherty and getting in a Spence or a Singo, a really young one. Because I think Mela, Lamptey and Dumfries, Lamptey's at a decent age, but I feel like Mela and Dumfries, they're at an age where that's probably the player you're going to get, and I don't know if they're like they're of the quality to justify spending the money on them.
You say that,
whereas keeping Emerson, yeah, but might as well keep Emerson or Doherty then. You know what I mean?
I don't know, because I mean Doherty and Emerson. I mean these players here could have better outputs than both of them.
They could also have worse.
They could, yeah. You're right.
You know what I'm saying? Like Mela, for example. I like Mela, and I think he's done really well for Denmark. But if he's going to cost, say, 30 million, might as well keep Doherty, you know, and get like a younger one, because
he does have around 4 or 5 years on Doherty.
Yeah, but I just feel like I don't know if it represents enough of like a definite upgrade on what we have to justify the money to spend it.
Yeah, it's interesting, because I don't think that age is too bad. You're talking about Dumfries at 26. You're talking about Mela at about 25. I think we said he is. It's not too old, is it? I mean, it's good age.
Yeah, no, I'm saying at that age, right, of the quality they are at that age, does it justify the outlay compared to what we have right now, right wing back, to say this is 100% going to upgrade on what we have?
I think it does.
I don't think in Mela's case it does.
Maybe not in Mela's case, but I think in Dumfries' case it does. I think in Dumfries, I mean, like, if you're comparing Dumfries and Emerson Royale, I know Emerson obviously has got like 3 or 4 years on him, but I think that the output going forward from Dumfries is night and day than what you've seen from Emerson.
Yeah, fair enough. But no, that's true. And if we're getting rid of Emerson for 30 million, and we can get Dumfries for 30 million, that makes sense. I'm just saying, if we're getting rid of Emerson and signing Spence, right? Would there be a need to sell, like, say, sell Doherty for 10 million and sign
Yeah, I get
Dumfries
that.
for 30? I don't understand.
I get that. I mean, in my opinion, my personal opinion, I'd love to sell both of them, Doherty and Emerson, and bring in like a Spence and a Dumfries, or a Spence and a Mela, but probably Spence and Dumfries. That would be my preference.
Yeah, fair enough.
But all right, that is our right wing back. Let me know in the comment section below who you would prefer. If someone is not on the list, let me know any other names in the comment section below. But that is our 5 targets for right wing back. Thank you everyone for watching today. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always,
Come on you Spurs.